I was born in Long Beach, California, in an area of Long Beach called Belmont Shore. It's a big city. And born and raised there, moved 3 houses down the street when I was 3. So really haven't moved much. I went to Long Beach Wilson High School, which is very renowned in the volleyball world in terms of, I mean, lots of great players come out of that school. And I had the privilege of playing for many great teams while I was there. I was born. Sorry, that was it?
That was it, yeah.
Well, straight out of Long Beach, I was called by Debbie Hill, who was my predecessor here at William & Mary and was here for 30 years. And she wanted to know if I was interested in coming east for school. And of course I was. I mean, I always wished to go east. And so I came out and visited and loved it and ended up here at William & Mary for my college years and would do it all over again if I was 18 and had the choice again. I loved it that much. And it really kind of shaped who I am in terms of loving a smaller campus, wanting a residential campus. I think those are unique qualities of William & Mary, and when we go out recruiting, that's what we look for, kids that are looking for those things, because it's very special, and as an alum, you don't want just anyone to come here. You want someone to appreciate it. And then my college major, I was actually a history major, which is sort of a weird transition into coaching, but what I tell people is that it helps me give tours here. And I know most of the historical facts when I give tours, but I did love history. I loved a lot of subjects, like so many William & Mary students. It was very hard for me to choose a major and figure out what I wanted to do. So actually, I mean, it literally came down to flipping a quarter the night before I had to declare, and it was between history and then comparative literature and chemistry. And history won, and history was also good for me because I came in with AP credits and I could get it done in time and not have to worry about taking any extra semesters or stressing myself out too much. But I loved history, but I love so many other subjects here too. Every subject here has great professors and great things to show you about the world, and I appreciated them all. I have been in coaching for 20 years, and this just dawned on me because my 20th college reunion is coming up, and I'm freaked out. But I've been coaching for 20 years, straight from college into coaching. Debbie found me a job. Debbie, when I was playing, always said, "This is the job you're going to. When I retire, you're coming back to William & Mary. This is where you're going to be." And I kept fighting it and kept finding it. And then when I graduated, it was kind of the recession of the 90s. There weren't many jobs out there, especially for people with history degrees that didn't want to go to law school. And she got me a coaching job at Arkansas State. I spent 2 years there with Chris Poole, who's now at Florida State. Loved it. We won 2 conference championships. I mean, just a successful, great coach. Got my master's degree, moved on to Clemson, was the first assistant there for 2 years. Participated in the NCAA tournament there as well, did really well in the ACC. From there I went to Virginia, where I was there for 13 years. Loved UVA, loved Charlottesville, but it was just time for a change, and Debbie was retiring, so I knew this was my destiny, if you could call it that, and this is where I ended up. One of the things that when Debbie retired, all the alums kind of got together on the phone and were like, who's going to take it? Who's going to maintain the specialness of this program and keep it going? And you know, I was sort of the one that was in the best situation to do that. And while it's not the same program that Debbie had, I definitely have made my mark on it, and it's my own. I think a lot of the core values are the same. The core values of family, the core values of trust, hard work, and just determination to get it done. And those things stay the same and have stayed with all of us, for all of us that have been in coaching. Other things about William & Mary that attract me are obviously I am able to recruit the type of student athlete I enjoy working with. I enjoy someone who wants to know the why and doesn't just say, yes ma'am, I'll do that. I enjoy someone who likes maybe hearing about the physics behind it or the history behind it or something like that. That's intriguing to me. I love working with kids who have other things going on. You know, I don't want them in the gym 20 plus hours a day. I want them wanting to go, you know, be in a sorority or go be a tour guide or, you know, be involved in their church group, just something else. You know, you need a life outside the gym, and at a school like William & Mary, it really helps to have multi-facets because it's a hard place to be a student athlete. And if all you concentrate on is athletics, you're not going to do well in the classroom. And if all you concentrate in the classroom is you're not going to do well in athletics. So you kind of need that third component to balance it out and get a good life lesson. Oh, Williamsburg. You know, when you're a student at William & Mary, you don't venture out into the community much, and you're kind of in this little bubble. And it's been really interesting to come back for the last 3 years and live in Williamsburg. You know, I don't live on campus, I live in Williamsburg, and raising my son here, having him go to school, meeting people, driving around. I mean, I actually know where I'm going now, and it's a great place to raise a family. It is a fantastic town for things to do on weekends. I mean, Busch Gardens, the rivers, the beaches. You can get to the Outer Banks in an hour and a half. I mean, as a family, we have found so much more to do here than we have where we previously lived. And we really lucked into a great neighborhood and great neighbors and a great street, and it's been a blast. I mean, we really love living here. Home is nice because as a coach you're not home much, and I tell you, it is nice to be home. But you know, I've traveled a lot. I've had the opportunity to go to Europe several times. I've been to Mexico, I've been to Canada, I've been in 43 of these great states. And you know, really, it's always nice when you land at the airport and you start driving home. It really is nice. It sounds kind of cliche. But having grown up in Southern California, it's nice to go home too and see the moderate temperatures and the weather and the beach. We were just there for 10 days, and you kind of forget how nice it was. You're spoiled when you grow up there, and when you go back, you're like, wow, why do people ever leave this weather? But you know, opportunities lie elsewhere, and you grow up and you move on. But I enjoy traveling all the time, seeing new things, and that's one of the things we try and do with our girls. Like, some people have asked me, why are you going to New Orleans? And we're going to go to New Orleans to play Tulane because it's New Orleans. You know, we get to see things we've never seen anywhere else, and we try and eat in restaurants we can't eat in Williamsburg, and little things like that. Part of my responsibility to my team is to show them things they might not see otherwise. And one of the great benefits of playing a sport in college is that you do get to travel and go see some of the world. And so we try and take advantage of that. It just depends on very big things, but I tell you, I would not be where I am today without my middle school coaches, or my junior high coaches as we call them. Then I had two fantastic ladies, Miss Braun and Miss Katangian, and they coached just about every sport I played in middle school, which was just about all of them. And it was neat to see female coaches being successful and doing those things. And I also had a great high school coach in Miss Mora, and she just sort of inspired everybody to work as hard as they could and get going. And when I look back at it, I realize how fortunate I was to have female role models coaching me my whole career, with the exception of some club coaches, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. So I guess professionally, those have been all my role models. Of course, my parents are a huge influence, giving me the strength and courage to be able to move 3,000 miles away from home, and raising me to be independent enough to do that is a big deal. And now that I'm in the recruiting world, I realize it takes a special family to let their daughter go that far on her own. So I appreciate everything they've done for me as well. You know, I like to do a lot of things. I really enjoy working out. Just got really back into that. My body's finally let me do that again. And I enjoy hanging out at home, cooking. I love to cook. I really think I should open a restaurant sometimes, because I really like to make a great sandwich for Williamsburg. And then I enjoy doing little puzzles and reading. I'm sort of a William & Mary nerd that way. In some ways, I enjoy those things. And then hanging out with my son. You know, he's 6 and is growing fast, and he changes every year, so it's exciting to be with him all the time. The biggest hurdle when you take a new job is figuring out exactly what type of student athlete is going to do well here and appreciate the experience. And I feel like I've finally gotten over that hump within that learning curve of figuring that out. And being more confident in my choices of who I go after, because knowing they're the best fit for William & Mary and our program, that's been a big thing in this last year that I figured out. And I'm very happy to have been there, because it makes recruiting a lot easier. But that was a hurdle to overcome. And then, you know, one of the hurdles that we overcome all the time, staff, you know, just the rotation with our part-time second assistant spot. So we feel very fortunate to have our whole staff back this year, and that's the first time it's happened since I've been here, and it's going to just help us take off running.